Walker, and to celebrate the first annual Atlantic College Board Writing Prize.
Go straight there.
Our motivation in creating this prize was simple. We want to encourage and honor good evidence-based analytical writing. The kind of writing that our best teachers teach, not just in English classrooms, but in history, social studies, science, sometimes even math. The kind of writing that students will be expected to do in college and throughout their careers. And maybe most importantly, the kind of writing that builds knowledge and deepens understanding of both reader and writer, and deepens our engagement with the world and helps us think through things in truly developed, informed opinions. Nicholas, we hope that writing your essay was as inspiring to you as reading it was to us. Great American Documents was the logical choice for our inaugural prize theme. The founding documents and the great speeches and essays produced in their wake are central to what it means to be an American and a global citizen. And as Nicholas and his family can attest, the influence of these documents and these ideas literally span the globe. And that's why starting in March, every student who takes the SAT is going to come into contact with one of these founding documents or a text that is derived from the great conversation that they have inspired about freedom, about justice, and about human dignity. Few institutions have produced as much great analytical writing and as many great new texts to analyze as the Atlantic. It's been a literary fixture for 150 years, and it's something I've been reading since I was a little kid. And it's better than ever, thanks to the leadership of its editor-in-chief and its co-president, James Bennett. James College Board has had a blast doing this, as we were just talking about it on the way in, and we're excited to launch the next the next edition of the prize, where students will be called on to analyze an influential work of art. Thank you and your team for this terrific partnership.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Stephanie, for those kind words. And we are really so pleased to be able to work with the College Board around our shared aspiration to encourage powerful analytical writing. And I think we were all, the judges, were all inspired by the way students around the world rose to this challenge, and by the writerly ambition that we saw displayed in the work that we received. In the end, Nicholas's essay, which took as its subject Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech during the March on Washington, stood out for its clarity of expression and its sensitivity of analysis. Nicholas didn't just consider the words of the speech the way we understand them today, but in the context of the moment. He considered the particular resonance, as you'll hear in a moment, the particular resonance of the words for King himself and for the audience as they would have heard them on that really hot day in Washington 50 years ago, and only a few steps away from where we're gathered now. And Nicholas and his English teacher, Steve Walker, please come on up and join us. Nicholas will now read a passage from his essay. Congratulations, Nicholas. Take it away. It's all yours, Steve.
I would just like to preface this little excerpt by saying thanks to all the staff and all the organizers at the College Board and at the Atlantic, and my parents, my teacher, who are in the audience today, without whom I definitely wouldn't be here today, both literally and figuratively. Here goes. Remarkably, King's peroration was largely spontaneous. He had experimented with the refrain of "I have a dream" on a few prior occasions, but never had he expanded upon the motif to the extent that he did on this day. Additionally, an examination of the original copy of the speech confirms King's assertion in his autobiography that he had not written a prompt for this improvisation on his prepared text. In retrospect, it is significant that King used the word dream to convey his vision. We traditionally tend to label dreams as unreal conditions, but King's doctorate in theology suggests that he may have intended to frame his dream in the biblical sense. Particularly in the Old Testament, dreams were used to convey God's plan for his people and signified a promise that was inevitably fulfilled. In this way, it is possible to interpret his dream as a promise to the American people that one day freedom would ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city across the country. Thank you.
Nicholas, as the manager of this year's writing contest, I had the privilege of reviewing all 3,120 essays that were submitted for the contest. And I was particularly interested in the essays that came from outside the United States. There were over 100 of those, because I wanted to see what those students had to say about our important U.S. historic documents. So I vividly remember, as I was scanning through all those essays, seeing yours and your reference to the Maori people of New Zealand, and it caught my attention. And so it was one of the few out of those thousands of essays I actually read the whole thing. And I thought at that point, this is probably going to be one of our finalists. Now, I wasn't involved with selecting the winner of the contest, but it did not surprise me at all that you were selected as the author of the outstanding essay this year, so congratulations.
So now we know.
We have a couple of things for you, Nicholas. First of all, we have an iPad that has recognition of you as this year's contest winner engraved on the cover. We also have a certificate from the College Board and the Atlantic recognizing you as this year's contest winner. And we can't forget the educator on the stage. Mr. Walker, this is a certificate for you and the school, King's College in Auckland, in honor of your support and guidance of Nicholas in this endeavor. Congratulations, and thank you very much.
All right.
All right, well done. Yeah.